whole thing. Okay, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I am not saying eat the whole carrot cake just because it's gluten-free. What I am saying is that it's all things in moderation, meaning fruits, vegetables, meats, dairy if you can have it, okay, and a grain. It does not mean, when people first go gluten-free, they think, oh, I just won't have bread, okay? That's not what it is. Your body still needs grains. Your body needs ancient grains to perform like it should. I don't think God put us on the earth to say, okay, only have meats, cheeses, and fruits and vegetables. That's not why we have grains, right? Like Brady said, God was supposed to eat grain, not just wheat, but grain. And grain in its most ancient forms, which is what we have, but not a man-altered, chemically changed crossbreed of what wheat used to be. Is that a fair way to state it? So, all things in moderation, okay? So, eat everything in all the food groups, just avoid the changed things, okay? The fourth is ancient grain consumption, okay? That is the other key. So, when I say there's a lot of snack foods available in the store, and there is, but it's a lot of just high-carb snack foods, okay? But they're not wholesome foods, and it really is important that you eat, real foods. You do eat some breads. You do have biscuits and gravy. You do have bread bowls and soup, and you do have spaghetti and French bread, and you do have lasagna, and you do have waffles. I mean, you gotta eat normal, right? Like Mom cooked. But it's important that you eat those ancient grains, like the arrowroot and the potato starch and the tapioca and everything that we've still extracted in ancient ways. So in other words, wheat, the way that it was harvested and changed has totally been changed as to how it is today, right? But everything that we source is still its original method of harvestation and preservation, and how it gets dust today is still the same that it was back then. So your body can recognize it and assimilate it. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so this list, I'm trying to make sure we still end on time. Okay, this list that we have right here, gluten ingredients and hidden glutens, is for you to take and just know about, okay? If something in the store doesn't say gluten-free, be aware, okay? So for example, hidden glutens are things like maltodextrin, these are all listed on here, okay? Hydrolyzed wheat protein, malic acid is in a lot of yogurts. Maltodextrin is in almost everything if you look at it. Wheat starch, wheat protein is in a lot of things. So like Campbell's soups, totally avoid them. I'm going to go through some specifics here in just a second. Anything with malt in it. Malt is always a derivative of barley, always. Okay, that means beer, most beers. So this just gives you a list of some of the most common, very well-intended suppliers have come up with a lot of synonyms for gluten. These are some of the most common, okay? So then when I say things to watch, which is kind of the next section, I'm saying check your bouillons, okay? I'm going to guarantee that 99% of the bouillons you have in your house have gluten in them. So for example, we have a chicken and beef and veggie bouillon, and dollar for dollar, they're excellent value. So for example, you can get one here for $10. It gives you 56 servings, right? It's a ton. It's 56 8 ounces, right? Compare that to the box ones you get in the store. So you can pay $10 here, or you can pay $42 in the store. You get the exact same amount, okay? So just compare that dollar for dollar. So you know how sometimes you buy that box and you end up throwing half of it away anyway, because like it's going to be rich over. Just get a little teaspoon, add water to it. Like you're smart enough to add the water yourself, right? So just do it that way. It's like the easy way to do it. So, but most of your bouillons will have preservatives or maltodextrin or those preservatives in them. Soups, a lot of oats have them in it. Any ready-made oatmeal will have it in it. Ours do not. There's only 2 oat facilities, if you want to call it, in the U.S. that are certified gluten-free. We source from one of those, but most oats are no longer gluten-free. Got to make sure.
No, when you're talking about oats, is that oatmeal?
Yeah, any ready-made oatmeal like packet mix, do not have those. Any ready-made popcorn, I would avoid anything that's already made, any like are not certified gluten-free, and you gotta think, okay, here's a great big vat, what do they run on it? Well, let's run all the packet mixes, and then let's run these, and then let's run these. Now, do they do a cleanse? They don't. What's in the air? Well, there's a reason for that, right? So Quaker has now come out with there's a gluten-free version. I don't remember where they say it's produced. It's different, but anyway, does that make sense?
But it's gonna have to be. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So the 25 bags at Raw, like a Window, are not gluten-free probably, right?
I'd be cautious.
So
But
do you sell oatmeal?
yeah, in 5 and 25-pound bags and everything.
25 bags?
Certified, everything, yeah. But you don't, I mean, we just try to, what we do is we buy by the pallet. We can do it. And we usually put the 25-pound bags on sale, so you can get it for the best price possible. That's our objective. We buy it by the pallet, so you'll get the best price.
I have a question. I buy the Atkins bars, like that they sell, and they don't have gluten in them, but they say processed, like the
In a
Alabama.
facility with wheat.
Is that?
What I recommend, I don't recommend those, okay?
Okay.
Mainly because, I'll just say I don't recommend those.
We can say why.
The Quest bars is the ones I recommend, mainly because
we did
they
try those.
are gluten-free. The Atkins one doesn't have necessarily a propensity for gluten-free. They're more for lower carbs, but these are as well, but these have less preservatives. These are lower in carbs, these are higher in protein and better in fiber. I'm just saying if you compare the nutritional benefits side by side, I would go this way versus the other, that's all. Okay. So if anything says MSG, which is monosodium glutamate, always a preservative. Modified wheat starch, modified food starch, malted anything, triticale, triticum, any of those, they're always a gluten, okay? Things to watch. Now we're going to talk about here in just a second, dairy, cheeses, French fries, hot chocolate, okay? They may know what is the brand of hot chocolate that's gluten-free? Stevens. Only one, okay? Best place to get it for price? Random place, Shopco. They have every flavor, I don't know why, okay? It's the best place, best price. I'm gonna tell you, I'm sure. Anyway, but not Swiss Miss, not whatever it is, not Nestle, none of those are gluten-free, okay?
And can I say something on that
Yeah.
too? Most of Stevens are gluten-free, but there are a couple that are not, so you still want to make sure.
Because there's like one that's like cookie something.
It's the Candy Cane one, I
Yeah.
think, that is not gluten-free.
The certain holiday.
But yeah, most of them are.
Yeah. So pastas, maple syrups. So Dr. Weiler would always recommend a pure maple syrup. I agree with him, except some people would be concerned about the price, so we do offer a sugar-free, diabetic-friendly maple syrup. We always argue about this, it's okay to argue. And then soy sauce, same thing. Most have gluten in them. We have a gluten-free soy sauce. So again, anything brown, we're going to argue about, meaning soda. Brown soda has gluten in it, okay? I don't care what website says what. There are manufacturing facilities, some Coke ones that would say they're gluten-free, but none of them say gluten-free on their bottles and their cans for a reason, okay? And it's because none of their facilities are certified gluten-free, from Pepsi to Coke to none of them. Most of the orange sodas have gluten, most of the brown sodas have gluten, most of the grape sodas have gluten. Your safe ones, if you're going to drink soda, which Wyrick would say not to, I'm with you, it's all good. So Sprite, Mountain Dew, Fresca, those are all gluten-free, but those are about it. Okay? Any others? You don't recommend it, so.
Lemonade, okay?
Frozen lemonade, sure. But lemonade in the squirt bottles or any of the Mios, absolutely not. Any of the liquid Cascade,
Crystal Lights.
Crystal Lights, no, those all have preservatives in them. But the, what do I have here? Oh, Cascade Ice is probably my go-to soda substitute if you had to. They're gluten-free, sodium-free, caffeine-free, and sugar-free, although they have sucralose, which is a preservative, so 9 of one, 6 of another, right, what do you choose? So that's just another.
Can you tell us how boxes are in the gluten-free?
Fresca, Mountain Dew, Sprite, basically. Think clear. think.
Right, 7-Up?
Mhm.
I never drink it, but I had that one.
Yeah, just, I mean, you gotta, like, options, right? So, yeah, understand. Okay, so sausage, hot dogs, deli meat, be super cautious, we're gonna talk about some of them I recommend and where you get for the best price. Sauces, gravies, seasonings, so I've given you a list of things just to be cautious of, okay? I'm trying to make you aware, just so you're more cognizant of it, okay? Because I know when I first went gluten-free, I still didn't feel very good, and I was frustrated. And I went to one of my girlfriends and I was like, I still feel like crap, like what am I doing wrong, right? And she's like, well, first of all, how long have you felt this way? And I'm like, forever. And she said, okay, here's the problem, let's go shopping together. And she showed me several things that I was still eating that I didn't realize. So I was really grateful, and so that's why we're kind of talking tonight, okay? So, we're gonna talk next about meats and cheeses for a second, things I want you to be aware of, okay? So, Hormel Naturals, let's talk bacon, lunch meat, and sausage, and hams for a second. So, a lot of meats are preserved with good intentions to get them to us. So number one, they look good, right? So think about it. When they start to slaughter turkeys in February to get to us for Thanksgiving in November, which is exactly what they're doing, right? They gotta preserve them. They gotta slaughter them. Think of all those turkeys we gotta eat, right? So they're gonna slaughter them and they're gonna preserve them to get them to us. Well, in order to do that, they gotta add preservatives, they add bouillon, they add a bunch of things, they inject them with some nitrates so that they still look pretty and they're preserved when they get to us, okay? So, number one, when Thanksgiving comes, we do a class on how to make good stuffing, how to make gravy, how to pick the correct turkey, which is a gluten-free Hormel butterball, either one, and they say gluten-free right on them, okay? Sorry, I slipped this front, so I don't want to do it. But this is a butterball premium, natural, gluten-free, non-hormonally stimulated turkey, okay? That's basically what you guys will want, okay? So, a lot of our meats are preserved, okay? So we're going to talk about that for just a second. Hormel, and this is the best example that I can give you. This is their bacon, and I have all these because I'm going to hand them around. I want Connie to hand these you and just kind of hand them back, would you? So this is the best example I can give you. This is the best bacon you'll ever try, okay? It is more expensive, I'm going to tell you right now, but it tastes amazing. So, on the back, this is the example as to why meats have gluten in them. So for example, it says, no nitrates, no artificial ingredients, minimally processed, no MSGs, raised without hormones, thus it's gluten-free. Okay? So what does that mean? Well, a lot of our meats do have MSG added as preservatives. A lot of them are raised with hormones. A lot of them are processed heavily, right, in their process, and a lot of things are added to them to preserve them in that process. A lot of them have many artificial ingredients to preserve them to get them to us, okay? And a lot of them have a lot of added nitrates, okay? Nitrates meaning caramel color, added preservatives, suet and a lot of other colorants to make them look pretty for us, okay? Does that make sense? But not healthy for our body and we can't ingest it, okay? So it alters the flavor a little bit, but it makes it look nice and it helps. Manufacturers want things to last longer, right? So they want to avoid what's called scrap. They don't want things to be wasted, right? So they want it to last a long time, to get to us, to last on the shelf until we buy it and consume it. That's the objective. But that doesn't mean it's the best thing for our body, right? We need fresh. That's what our bodies need. We need fewer ingredients, no preservatives, fresher, okay? So this is one of the things I recommend. Hormel is a pretty dang good brand on making sure that things don't have preservatives and that they're gluten-free. It's one of the brands we're going to talk about, okay? So, one of the best places to get the best sausage and hams is Winco. The best bacon, like this kind of bacon, is Winco or Fred Meyer or Albertsons, any of them, I've kind of listed that here. The best place to buy the best lunch meat for the best price, have you guys all seen this? It's no longer called Castlewood, it's called Private Selection at Sam's Club, do you know what I'm talking about?